Hey girlies, welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking all about money because money. Also, just want to point out, my neighbors are having their roof redone. I don't know what that's called, but there's people working on it. So if you hear something, that's why. Sorry. It's been very obnoxious all day, but it hasn't stopped. From 7 a.m. to now, the end of the day, it's still going. So there really isn't a time where it's not going to be there. We're just going to hope they'll be editing magic. Otherwise, sorry. I guess I'll just talk really loud or something. But, oh my God, this week, so all my friends somehow have already found their prom dresses for our prom, which is the end of April. I'm like, y'all, it's February. But now the thing is, I've been stressed for no reason because what else do I have to focus on? College decisions? No, that is too stressful. So what my entire focus this week has been on is finding the perfect prom dress. I think Monday afternoon, I spent a solid 3 hours looking for one. And now I've gotten to the point, it's the end of the week, and I have ordered 2. And one of them is this really pretty, what color is this? Turquoise blue that I like. And it's sparkly and it has glitter. And it has a leg slit and it has an open back. And it's really pretty. And I have an eyeliner that would match the color. So I'm like, And then the other one is black, which is kind of boring. But the cut of it is interesting, which makes it less boring. But then again, I'm like, do I want to wear a black dress? Because everyone wears a black dress. And that's not fun. And I'd rather, have fun with it. But who knows? We'll see. Also, today, my Spanish class had a Valentine's Day party, which was fun. We all brought different snacks and desserts. So if you listen to my last episode, which said how to have a Valentine's Day party with your friends. That's what I did. So you should do that because it's fun. And we had Valentine's Day headbands and snacks, and we watched Encanto, and it was great. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Also, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, since this episode's going out on Valentine's Day, maybe listen to the other one too. Because low-key was a vibe. Also, I don't know what was happening that entire episode. I don't know. It was just very funny to me listening back to it because I was like, what am I talking about? But that's fine. And also, something so fun this week. Multiple times, people have come up to me and said, people at school, said, oh my God, Carmen, I didn't know you had a podcast. That's so cool. Oh my God, Carmen, I just listened to your podcast. I didn't know you had one. Oh my God, Carmen. So, heard a lot of that this week. Which, when I do things, if I post a TikTok or if I record something, I'm not thinking, oh my God, people at school. But then this past week, I'm like, oh my God, people at school. What have I said that I wouldn't want people at school knowing? And now at this point, I'm like, well, you know what? It's whatever because I feel like I've already said so much. And so that's just been so fun. Literally, in the middle of a class, a group of boys asked me, they were like, do you ever talk about people on your podcast? And I was like, no. Yeah, I mean, I guess I do. I mean, I'm talking about them right now. But I was like, oh my God, did I say something about one of them? Because they were all looking at me like they knew something. And I was like, oh my God, what if I did? I don't think I did. But also, I don't know because I say so much, so many times. And it's not like I can remember everything I say ever. So that put me in a panic mode. But we're just going to try to forget about that. Also forget about the fact that people I know watch my TikToks. Yeah. So that's been fun. That's been fun. Because I'm always like, why would anyone care what I'm doing? I know I'm cool, but I don't think anyone would care. And apparently all these other people care. I'm like, why? Literally why? Someone explained to me why. I'm sorry. Love myself and all that, but I don't think I'm that interesting for large groups of people to be like, oh my God, Carmen, oh my God. Like, I'm literally just talking to myself. Maybe people's lives are really boring or something. I don't know. But so yeah, so fun. Love life. Also, super exciting. Hadley is coming home tomorrow for a basketball game, and my cousin, which should be fun. But I'm only going to see them for a day, and then I'm going to Mexico, which for a week I will be sitting on the beach, laying down, doing nothing. And hopefully I'll read some books so I can do a spring book episode soon. Planning on that. So I think all I'm going to do is lay down and sleep and read books. And that's about it. And that sounds pretty good to me. I feel like some people on vacation want to do stuff, but I can't. No. Like some vacations, it's fun where you're doing activities. But honestly, it's the middle of the school year and I'd rather just, sleep. Because I'm tired. And senioritis, even though I literally don't have that much schoolwork, but it still feels like I do. I don't know. I've just always been stressed. Like past 2 weeks, I feel constantly stressed and I have no work. Like the past 2 mornings, I've woken up early because I was anxious about something at school, but I couldn't remember what it was. I would just wake up anxious and I'm like, oh my God, why am I stressing? But it's just because I'm stressing for no reason. And I think it's giving me stress acne. But yeah, so that's been fun. Super great. Love that for me. But yeah, excited to go to Mexico. Also, I don't know what's been going on this week, but I have cried in multiple classes. And don't be like, oh my God, Carmen, that's so sad. Oh my God, are you okay? No, I'm not sad crying. It's because, actually, no, that's not true. I did sad cry in one class. Okay, never mind. Anyway, but crying a few times in classes this week. Most of the times. Like 9 out of 10. 90% of the time. It was laughing, crying, because whenever I get emotional about anything, I cry, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like in the car ride this morning or yesterday, I don't know when it was. I truly cannot determine time anymore. Sometime recently, I was listening to the radio, which people have made so much fun of me for. They're like, oh my God, Carmen, you listen to the radio in the car? Yes, because listening to the same playlist is too boring. And I don't have good music taste. And I can't take time to make a playlist because I don't know. I don't look for new songs. If they're on the radio, that's what I'll listen to. So anyway, I was listening to the radio and I was driving in traffic and it was like one of those commercials or when they started doing like one of the shows where people are just talking and they're talking about Shaun White, the U.S. Olympic snowboarder. And they played an interview that he did, or not, I guess interview. I don't know what it's called, but where he was talking to a reporter right after he did his last run ever for the Olympics, and he had like fallen or something or messed up one of his jumps. I don't know, but you could hear the emotion through his voice. Kid you not. I started tearing up. He was like, you could hear him sniffling. You could just feel the emotion. And I was like, oh my God, do I know anything about this man? No. I saw him on TV like once. Looks like a nice guy. Okay. He was literally, I could hear him crying over the radio. Could not see his face. So then I started crying in the car. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so sad. That is so sad for him. But like, I don't care about the Olympics. Personally, I don't really care about him. I don't care about snowboarding, but I was just crying in the car. And then I cried a few times, I think in math, and then a few times in English because I was laughing so hard. And then once in Spanish because of something sad. But just like been emotionally unhinged this week. But that's okay. That's fine, I guess. Also, I'm just like dead tired. It's Friday afternoon. I went to the post office. Let me just say this. The post office might be the scariest place. I have PTSD, and I say that very loosely. But when I was in middle school or something, I went to the post office and I had never had to return anything before. And this was like when my family started using Amazon more. And I don't know how I thought this was a good idea. This was literally so stupid of me. But I put multiple items to be returned in the same box, even though they were going to different places. And I brought it to the post office and they're like, TF, like, what are you doing? You can't do this. And I was so overwhelmed and I started crying in the post office because I'm in middle school and the post office people are yelling at me. So every time I go in the post office, I get really nervous. And I went in the post office by myself, which was just really traumatic. Really traumatic. It ended up being fine, but it was a field trip of the day. Field trip of the day. Love that.
Davy Piper is an apparel brand that focuses on making comfortable clothing that are also beautiful. Their pieces are the perfect basics and staple items that you need to add to your closet ASAP. From joggers to tanks to comfy bras, Davy Piper has it all. Everything is also extremely affordable and made out of great quality materials. Davy Piper is a female-run business that wants to empower other women to live with unapologetic confidence through clothes that let them do just that. What you wear should make your confidence soar. It should make you feel like your absolute best self, rather than make you question your style choices throughout the day. Davy Piper is for women that want to feel their best while also looking their best. Visit davypiper.com to get 20% off your next order using code GirlyGirl20. That's code GirlyGirl20 for 20% off at davypiper.com or by visiting the link in the description of this episode.
Money time because material girl, right? So you're like, Carmen, you're 18, you make money. How do you make money? And you're like, oh my God, I swear to God, the people outside are so loud. It's going to throw hands. But anyway, so obviously you can make money as like a teen person, anybody, with a real job. You can work on weekends if you're in school, work at a restaurant. I heard Chick-fil-A is good, but like also Chick-fil-A is like, you know, issues because Chick-fil-A. So I don't know, like Starbucks, be a barista. That sounds fun. One of my friends is a barista. You can work at a clothing store, whatever, like a 9-to-5 job, but it's not 9 to 5 because you're a teenager and it's on the weekend, but whatever. Or like at a grocery store. But the bad thing about that is that you get taxes, like you get a lot of money taken out from taxes, and then they give you like $12 an hour or less, depending on where you live. So that's not it. And we don't want to do that. Also because that's boring. And that actually takes a lot of time. And if you're like me and you're someone who's lazy, but you like stuff, you like buying stuff and you see stuff online and you're like, oh my God, that's so cute, I want it. But then you feel bad because if you use your parents' money, they look at you and they're like, Carmen, you have to stop. I'm just waiting for that this week. The amount of times I went out to eat, not good. I went to like a fancy pasta place for lunch one day this week. A little expensive. Anyways, it's fine. But what you can do if you want to not have a huge time commitment, but obviously you're still working. I say not have a huge time commitment, but also then again, I feel like it's more time. Actually, this is definitely more time. So I don't know what I'm saying. Just scratch everything I just said. But you could start a small business and sell stuff on Etsy. Let's say you're a very artistic person, very artsy. You paint, you draw, you make things. I don't know, pots. You make pots. I like watching ceramic TikTok videos. So that's my example. Let's say you are a ceramic pot maker. And you make pots. Yep. And you're like, I love ceramics. I love pot making. But I feel like I can do more with my art. What should I do? what you should do is you can make an Instagram account and start selling stuff on Etsy, or you could sell stuff through Instagram. But that would require you to actually be artistic and like good at something. I have a friend who sells his artwork, and he's done fairly well. So if you're good at art and everyone's like, oh my God, blah, 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 you're so good at art. You're like, maybe I am. Maybe I should sell stuff. Or another thing that you could do, because the bad thing about selling physical products is that you actually have to, like package it and ship it and go to the post office, which that's what we're trying to avoid. Me saying this when literally everything I'm going to say includes the post office. I hate the post office. I cannot do it. They just look at you. They're like, this girl looks like she's 12. Why is she at the post office? It's fine. But as I was saying, so if you're like, physical products, no. Another thing you can do, because if you use Etsy, you might know that people say, oh my God, sell like online products. So like digital files or things. Like some people sell digital planners for iPads or digital schedules, digital notes, a lot of organization things kind of online, or I don't know. I'm trying to think what else people would sell. But if you want to make like a digital thing, like a workbook, I've done that before. You can make a digital workbook that does require some graphic design and like planning stuff, But if you're up for a project, you could sell digital things. And the good thing about that is that it would make recurring income, or like passive, what is that called? Like passive income. So you just have to make one thing. You can post it, and then you're just going to keep selling that one thing. So then you don't have to keep putting in a bunch of effort, and you don't have to go to the post office. So I think we all win right there with that one. So if you can figure out how to sell a digital thing, something you don't need to ship, maybe you're a writer, or maybe you have a really good story to tell. I think there's a way where you can like publish ebooks. If you want to write an ebook, if you're a baker, I know I had a friend who was a baker and she made a digital ebook with all of her recipes, and that did well. If you want to do something like that, sell it on Etsy, or I think there's some way you can do it on Amazon. I don't know. But I've always said, I'm like, oh my God, I should write a book. But then again, my writing skills vary. I feel like to be a writer, your skills, they kind of have to be like up there. And I don't know, good. You have to be a good writer to write a book. See, the thing is that I'm not a good writer, but all the time I'm like, I'm going to write a book at some point. But I can't write. Maybe I'll do one of those things. If you read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, it's like where you tell someone about your life, or you tell someone stuff and they write it for you. See, that sounds better. That sounds more reasonable to me. But obviously, I mean, you don't really do that. But if you're a writer, you could write a book, write a short story. I think self-help books are good. Probably do well. Recipes are good if you have a cooking platform. Also, I think the main thing is that if you're going to sell stuff on Etsy or pretty much anywhere, it helps if you're promoting it somewhere, whether that's just your normal personal Instagram, or if you actually are making an account for what you're going to do. So let's say, going back to the pot making, you're like a master ceramic pot maker. You can make an Instagram or a TikTok. I know a lot of the ceramic videos on TikTok do really well. So like, it's you making a pot and everyone's like, oh my God, that's such a cute pot. Where can I get it? And you're like, oh my God, I sell them in the link in my bio on Etsy. And they're like, oh my gosh. And then people buy your pots. See, it's called marketing. It's called, what is the word? Like, getting the word out there. Because if you're just selling your pots on Etsy, like 1,000 other people are selling their pots on Etsy. And people aren't going to know about your pots unless you spread the word. So whether that's telling your family whether that's like telling people in your neighborhood, your friends, posting it on your Instagram stories, or making just your own account dedicated to that. Just trying to get the word out there, I think, would be best if you're trying to sell stuff online. And another thing you can do related to that, related to having your own platform, be an influencer. Wow, I hate saying this. Like, this is actually making me cringe really hard. Ooh, wow. Okay. So you could try to have your own social media platform. The thing about this is that a lot of people try to do it and it just kind of like, dies, or you're just doing it to make money, which is ironic because that's why I'm listing it. But I feel like if you're going to have a platform, your main goal shouldn't be to make money, because obviously when you're doing it, you're not going to make money like immediately. And if you do, it's not going to be a lot of money. So that's why, I don't know, I feel kind of iffy saying this one because I don't want everyone to be like, oh my God, Carmen said I should be an influencer, so now I'm going to be an influencer. But if you're a baker and you want to post things about that you bake and make TikToks about that, do that. That's cool if you're, the pot maker, because that's the only example I can ever think of apparently. And you're just posting videos of you making ceramics. That's cool too. What I feel like might not be as cool is that if you're just trying to be one of those people who just post selfies or pictures of themselves, because no one's gonna want to follow you if you're just posting like quote unquote like an influencer. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like I follow people who are actually like doing stuff in a way, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, so people whose platforms have like an actual thing. So like makeup artists, people who have cooking platforms, dancing, I guess, organization tips, like something that's actually like providing me with something. I'm not really gonna follow someone who's just posting pictures of them in the car. I don't know. Some people might enjoy that. Personally, no. That's gonna be a no for me. And then the thing about Instagram, or like being an influencer, you can get like free stuff fairly easily, but to make actual money, it is a bit challenging, and you do have to kind of put yourself out there and actually put in a lot of work and be consistent, which kind of sounds stupid because everyone's like, oh my God, being an influencer is so easy. I could be an influencer. But you kind of have to like do a lot and reach out to brands and be consistent when you post, and like kind of have a centralized message, I feel like, and a niche in a way. But again, a lot of people are successful doing just whatever they want. But if you don't already have an established platform, I feel like that is more difficult. But being an influencer could be an option. Might be hard, but if you are, I suggest starting on TikTok or posting reels. So there you go. There you go for that. Another thing you could do is sell clothes on Depop or Poshmark or one of those secondhand clothing stores. Personally, I use Depop, and this is really great for multiple reasons. First of all, if you're trying to clean out your closet, and also if you need some extra money, and I don't know, getting rid of clothes so then you can get new clothes. Also, it's just kind of fun. So I did this, I think, maybe a month ago, like a few weeks ago, where I started using Depop. And I'm not going to say that I have made like bank that, I'm making hundreds of dollars on Depop, thousands of dollars. I mean, some people do. Personally, in a month of using it, I have not. TBH, I think I've sold like 4 or 5 things. So probably made like under $200, but still, it's something, right? And I feel like people who do it more consistently, or people who go thrifting to buy and then sell it, I don't remember what that's called. It's like resale. No, that's not it. But I know a lot of people on Depop do that, where they're, oh my God, I literally could not speak today. where they will literally go out to thrift stores and buy stuff really cheap and then like mark up the price so you can make a profit. And I saw a TikTok of someone saying they did that, and everyone in the comments were like, oh my God, this is so unethical. How can you do this? Blah, blah, blah. Which, honestly, I don't really understand personally. I mean, I get that thrift stores and like places like Goodwill and Salvation Army are really great for someone if they're struggling and need to get clothing for cheap, but also at the same time, like, you buying a skirt that's your size is, I don't think that's like preventing other people from buying other things too, because a lot of the clothes in Goodwills or thrift stores are going to end up in a landfill anyway. So I feel like the argument of saying like you're taking it from people who actually need it isn't completely valid, because a lot of that clothes anyway is going to be ended up in a landfill. So by buying the clothes and selling it to someone who's actually going to wear it and actually going to use it, I feel like that's honestly better. But, you know, that's my personal opinion. But everyone in the TikTok comments were like, oh my God, you are such a bad person. I hate you. And I was like, this girl is not doing anything. It was like her. She was like me finding a pair of designer shorts in Goodwill and hoping that the manager doesn't upcharge me. And everyone was like, oh my God, this is so bad of you. I was like, guys, you would do too. You would do too for a check. Okay, let's all be honest, right? So if you want to sell some clothes, if your closet is overfilling, if you have grown out of a lot of your clothes, this year, maybe you just have clothes that are ugly, or you know the clothes that someone gives to you, or your mom gets for you, or you get passed, or clothes that gets passed down, like hand-me-downs from siblings, and they're just like not it, and you never wear them because, you know, they're ugly. Get rid of that. That has honestly been what I have been doing. And if my mom has gotten me something, I literally look through my closet and I swear half the things that I want to give away are things that my mom got for me that I really just don't love. And I told her, I was like, Mother, I am not going to wear this. I don't want it. And I really appreciate the thought. Like, thank you so much for thinking of me. That is very sweet. But I will not wear this. Can we please return it? And she's like, oh, too late. Can't return it. Already passed that deadline. I'm like, great. But now, if that happens to you, this is a time to, you know, get rid of the clothes you don't like, clothes that don't fit, and sell them on Depop. And speaking of Depop, just gotta self-plug, right? You can follow me on Depop at Carmen Applegate if you want to see some of my clothes. So yeah, do that and help me make money because support, yay, love you guys. Also another thing you can do, which I think is really common, especially for people in high school, and that's babysitting. And personally, I'm not a big kids person, but I have babysat before, and I did a lot of it over the summer and partially in the fall. I haven't done it really recently. But I did it over the summer for a while, and that's good because there's not really taxes, because if someone's just giving you cash or Venmoing you, you just get to keep all of it. Also, if you like kids, that's fun. Or if you know the family you're babysitting for and you really like them, that's also good. But I think babysitting can be a good job, especially for over the summer, or if you just have a lot of free time during the school year, even if you just like let some family friends know, like, hey, if you ever need a babysitter on the weekends or like picking up kids from school, if you can drive, can totally do that. Also pet sitting. I pet sit, or is it pet sat? I guess. I did pet sitting, I think, only twice. But both times I did it, it was really easy because I didn't have to do that much. And they gave me a lot of money for it. I think I did it for one of the dogs down the street when I was in middle school. And this is really good too, because especially if it's your neighbor and you can't drive, this is a good alternative because you don't have to get in a car and have someone take you if you can't drive. But pet sitting is good, and especially if you like animals And I think that's also another easy way to make money. If you just have to walk a dog a few times a day, let it in, let it out, feed it, and you get money for that. And that's pretty good. So yeah, ask around, ask your parents if they know anyone who has pets, or go and ask your neighbors. Personally, I get really scared talking to my neighbors, but one of them was family friend, so that ended up being fine, working out. But yeah, pet sitting is good if you're not about kids and you don't want to have to, like talk to someone. I did in fact have to babysit. I think the worst thing that I did, or the most tired I've ever been, was after babysitting two twin 2-year-olds and a 5-year-old for 2 days, and I wanted to cry. They didn't listen. They would just like grab me and pull my hair and lay it on top of me and wouldn't go to bed. And it was just awful. It was awful. Would I do it again? Yeah, because money. And is that bad? Like, I guess. But truly, I just started making stuff up. Like, they would ask me to tell them a story or sing them a bedtime song, and I would just sing songs that were on the radio, but of course they don't know because they're like 2 years old. I sang like Riptide, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is so good," and I was like, "Guys, I know." So wow, I'm a really good babysitter. Yes, everyone should trust me with their kids. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. Also, another thing you can do if you like kids, and let's say you're a smart gal, gal, whatever, and you like school, maybe you're good at math, maybe you're really good at reading, or maybe you just like helping kids and like helping people. You could tutor kids, whether it's actual children or people in your high school or middle school. Probably more applicable for high school if you're in a higher math class. Then someone like if you're in calc, you could tutor someone in pre-cal or algebra 2 or geometry, or you could help younger kids read. Probably asking family friends would be the best way to go about this. I feel like could be good. I have never done this, but I'm assuming you could make good money, like especially if someone actually needed help. I would assume so. Also, you could sell study materials and notes. I think this is pretty popular if you're in college or for AP courses, just because a lot of people, those are like common courses. Like if you're taking AP US history, like a lot of other people are taking the exact course and it has like similar curriculum, I guess. So you could sell your study materials and your notes, especially if they look pretty and are like legible, like you can read it. I saw online, it said on how I did not write this correctly, Course Hero or on Study Soup, but I'm sure if you just look up how to sell study notes online, you could do that. And I think the girl that I follow on YouTube and Instagram, Study Quill, you probably know who she is if you watch study videos. But I think she said she has sold her notes online or like selling old textbooks. If personally, actually, what am I talking about? But selling old textbooks. My school, we like rent them out, so you can't really sell them. But if your school makes you buy them, you could try to sell them to someone else who might need them, people in the grade below you. That's always good if you want to make some extra money. And then also some things that you can do, I guess, just to save money in general. For me, I think the biggest thing that I do that spent, like, where I spend the most money is eating out, going to restaurants, specifically during the week. Because at my school, juniors and seniors can leave for lunch. So this week, I went out to lunch, I think, 3 out of the 5 days where I spent money. And that's not necessarily good because it's like, what, $20? Like $20 or less every day when I could be eating actually at school. Because yes, my school does have food when I can go. And so I feel like if you're like me and your school lets you go out to lunch, try not going out to lunch every day. Well, it is tempting. If you want to save money, if you want to like use money for other things, like if you want to get, I don't know, what would someone want to buy? Like clothes, I guess, a new pair of shoes. My shoes have like the biggest crack in them right now. And my dad literally bought shoe glue because I like my shoes so much. They look absolutely disgusting. They have like rips and tears in them and they're turning yellow. They were white. They're like yellow and dirty and they're disgusting. But I love them because they have zippers on them and you can zip them on and off instead of having to tie them. Because I'm lazy, that's what I'm using. And I like them, so I'm gonna glue my shoes together, even though there is a giant crack in the sole. Doing well. Doing well. Also another thing you can do, going back to like the Depop thing, is that you can buy clothes at thrift stores. Again, some people think that's like controversial if you have technically enough money to buy like normal price clothes. But my thing is, why would you buy like the same item if you could find it at a thrift store? Why would you go out and buy and like pay so much more money, why can I not speak today, more money for something if it's the same thing? Like obviously if you look at a thrift store and there's nothing there you want, okay, and you have enough money to buy something somewhere else, then get it somewhere else. But I think always looking at a thrift store first can be good. Though last time I was in a thrift store, I literally felt bad because I was like, oh my god, I shouldn't be here because other people need the clothes. But then I'm like, not all the clothes gets bought. Not everything fits everyone. And as a very small person, I'm thinking, how many people are going to wear something that I would wear? Because like like clothes don't fit me because it's like too long because I'm too short. I literally was telling people, my Lululemon leggings that I have to get hemmed because I'm so short, which is just really embarrassing. But anyway, or like things on me are too long or just like too big in the boob area, So things fit me weird. Things fit everyone weird, I feel like. But my problem is like things being too big. So I'm like, I don't know. Also, some ways that I make money in general. Obviously, through my podcast. I do have ads through my podcast, in case you probably know. And you're like, oh my god, these are so annoying. Skip, right? But those I make money from. So if you are a podcast, obviously, you know what I mean. If you have a podcast, sure, try to monetize it. Again, it's a little bit difficult if you have a smaller platform, but it is possible. I make money from social media. And I've done babysitting, I've done social media management, running other people's Instagram accounts, Depop. So again, you can do a bunch of different things. I've worked in a restaurant. I've been a hostess. That was a freaking time. Let me tell you, that was a time. I feel like I talked about it, but like every few months, I just kind of remember that was a thing that I like somehow did that for a month. It was only a month, but it felt like forever. And honestly, was not a fan. I think that's going to be my restaurant experience just in life because I can't do it. I really can't. It's so frustrating and people are so stupid and you have to say the same thing for 8 hours and you're standing for 8 hours and your feet hurt. And the first 3 days you're standing for, 8 hours because they don't let you sit because they say chairs look unprofessional. Literally what? Your legs will hurt. Your feet will be in so much pain. And then you start getting used to it. And then if you're sitting down for too long, you're like, oh, I'm sitting down for too long, even though you're like a normal person who sits in a chair. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking. I don't know where that was coming from, but working in a restaurant, don't suggest. I know I said that at first, but it was just so frustrating. You have to be with other people. I don't like being with other people personally because they don't do anything and then I end up having to do it. So if you're like me, make your own money. Also, I feel like if your parents do this, personally my parents never do this for me, but if your parents are cool, I guess, If you do chores, some parents pay kids to do chores. Mine don't. Mine, I'm just expected to do it. But if your parents are like that, take advantage of that. Or if you have an allowance, or maybe you could start talking and be like, can I have an allowance? And like you can list a bunch of stuff that you can do for your allowance. If you want to do that, go right ahead. I think that's also a good option. But there are so many different ways you can make money, whether it's a real job, online, or just, selling art or clothing. Definitely a lot of options. So if you want to buy cute clothes, if you want to get some good books, I don't know, whatever you want to spend your money on, think about some of these ideas and maybe you'll be like, wow, thanks, Carmen. You're a real one. Love you lots. Thanks for helping me make money. I'm going to be like, oh my God, you're so welcome. But anyways, thank you all for listening. I hope this was insightful for some people. But yeah, hope you all have a great week. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're enjoying it. I will be enjoying it sitting on the beach by myself. So if that doesn't sound like a fun time, I don't know what does. I hope you all have an amazing week. Love y'all. Bye.